Hey yo, it's Genesis and I hope you're doing well, and welcome to my first genetips video. In this video I'm going to be focusing on 5 different ways to flip the creative block. Although I'm mainly based on music, I hope this helps for other creative people like visual artists, creative writers, filmmakers and others alike. These tips are all from my experience, so some may work for you and some might not, and that's okay. Everyone's different. So without further ado, let's begin. Unfortunately, I don't really see or hear this mentioned enough, and it's an integral part of creativity. From artists to critics to consumers, everyone has standards, and when your standards are too high, you're not going to like the things you're creating or have created, weighing yourself down and stopping your own progress in the process. You are your own worst critic. The main issue is that most people strive for perfection in whatever they create. But because we're just humans and we live in such a reality, no one can get to absolute perfection. One can get close to perfecting their idea, but it's literally impossible to get it down to theoretical perfection. One way to combat this is to revisit one of the oldest works you've done and compare it to the most recent. You'll definitely see a change, even if it's subtle. Even though there's always room for improvement in some way or another, progress is progress, and progress takes time and discipline. Take your time to gather inspiration from anywhere. It doesn't have to be only from your favorite artists within your field. There are no boundaries to where inspiration can be sourced from. As a music producer, I like to take inspiration from illustrators and visual artists, aesthetic genres, emotions, phrases, or even single words. I also like to dive deep into finding some artists I've never heard before and finding gold. Sometimes, observing something outside your usual field of expertise and finding grains of detail you like can give you a certain vibe or emotion that you could somehow incorporate into your work. As you collect and piece these various sources of inspiration, you can generate a really strong, unique, and tasteful vibe of your own. I know I just said there are no boundaries to inspiration, but sometimes having limitations expands your creativity. By having a limited range of options, from either setting rules and challenges for yourself, or even using a new program with limitations you're not familiar with, it forces you to have workarounds or make some creative choices that you otherwise wouldn't resort to. One of my favorite examples for this is a quote from Adam Neely's video, where he decided to perform a gig with only a singer and a toy keyboard made in 1991. In the video, he was quoting from a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, and the narrator of the book was teaching creative writing to a student at university. The basic premise of the quote was that the tutor asked the student to write a 5,000-word essay describing a street, but the student wasn't able to think of anything to write. The tutor then changes the task to write about one of the buildings from the street, but the student still couldn't think of anything to write. Afterwards, the tutor changes the task to write about one brick from that one house on that one street, and the student was able to write the whole 5,000 words. Even though I briefly touched up on that quote from Adam's video, I highly recommend you watch the entire video, as he goes more into detail about his experience of using that highly limited toy keyboard to his advantage on that gig, as well as other subjects I think you'll like. Your environment influences a lot of your actions and thoughts, including your productivity. Working in a new environment every now and then can refresh your mood and mentality and could aid your creative process. Of course, you can only really do this if you have a mobile setup for your media, like a laptop or tablet or small sketchbook. Sometimes all you need is fresh air or clear sunshine while you work, like sitting on an outdoor bench, or even working at a new comfort place like a local cafe corner shop, accompanied by your fresh cuppa. If things are a bit too much to handle, the safest thing to do is to lie back and take a break. You might be draining your creative battery too often that it doesn't have a chance to replenish. So take some time away from your equipment and let yourself recharge. If you find yourself exploring other artists' work, just appreciate it as it is. Don't overanalyze it or compare it to yourself, because that'll drag you down even more. I will just be observing the media as if I was a regular consumer. And remember, it's not wrong or bad to take breaks. In fact, we need them. We're just humans after all, and we're not machines, and it's okay to lie back for a bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it feels wrong saying this, but if you did, feel free to like and sub to buff my algorithm RNG, leave a comment on what your favorite tip was, and maybe share it to someone you think would find this useful. You can also support me by listening to my music, or even using it if you're a content creator. All my published music is DMCA free to use on YouTube and Twitch. Just remember to credit me in some way or another. You can also join my Discord server where I mainly post cool music I find, as well as announcements and other stuff. Social medias and links are in the description. Once again, thanks a lot for watching, and stay creative. See yous in a bit.